Now that we have our basics infrastructure created, so we know that we can toggle the portfolio here to show and to hide, which is really awesome. We want to now work internally. So we want something like this in our list, because this is not this is not exciting, right? To show just this text like that. What I want to do, I want to create something that's more customized and beautiful, if you will. How do we do this? Well, inside of, let's get out of here. In fact, before I even leave, let's go ahead and actually get rid of the unnecessary here. Just a box, concise. So let's go back to our content. If you say Command Enter, it's going to take you there, or Control+B on Windows. And let's go to our portfolio again. Click, and there we go. So this is where we are going to be working on. So what we want to do is we want to be able to extract and make something a little bit more memorable and less embarrassing. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do, let's get rid of that item there. Doesn't serve us well. And we're going to go back to split mode, and we're going to hide our emulator as such. And for the content, I'm actually going to get rid of the preview because I don't want to see that anymore. And what I'm going to do inside here is I'm going to create a card. And I'm going to pass modifier, what's new, and give a general padding of about 13 dp, and fill max width as such. And then I'm going to pass a shape. In this case, it's going to be a rectangle shape as such, because I want it to be that shape, rectangle shape. Very good. Now, if you look at what is inside here, notice we have some sort of two configurations. First, we have a row, because things are going to be left to right. And of course, here we also have things that are going to be vertically aligned, so top to bottom. So the main enclosing item will be a row, because it's going to be this item, which is going to be our profile picture, and then we have this content, project, title, and then description of sorts. So what are we going to do inside of our card that we will be creating? We're going to create a row, or add a row. So all of these is given, okay? And then I'm going to pass a modifier again, right? Say modifier, and I want padding within inside there. Padding inside, I'm going to say about 8 dp. And next, I'm going to also say background color. I'm just going to use the material theme dot colors and just use the surface color. All these colors come from the material theme, so we're set. All right, and then I'm going to make this clickable. And next, I'm going to also add padding. This is inside of our row of about 16 dp, like this. All right, so we have this row created. Now we have to add these contents. So we're going to use a surface again, a very good friend of ours. Pass in a modifier, give it size. I want the whole thing to have about 15.dp as such. And then I'm going to use a shape, or add the shape, and I want a circle shape. But now, what are we trying to do here? Well, all we're trying to do is to add this nice circle containing an image. Wait a minute, haven't we done that before? If you look back to, we have our content, of course. If you look back, let's go back to here, we have this create image profile. That's exactly what we want. Here is the beauty. We can reuse pieces of the user interface. Ah, interesting. That means then I don't have to come here and redo all of this. All I can do, let's just see, I can go ahead and just call the create image profile as such and see what happens. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I run this real quick to see what's going to happen. Okay, so it's false, so we need to click to see something, right? That's the deal. I'm going to go ahead and click, and voila. Now, let me make sure this is there. You can see I can scroll up and down, and each one of these are going to show or have an actual, in this case, you can see an actual image, rounded and everything. Ah, this is the beauty of creating pieces of independent functions, in this case composable, because we can reuse them. Now, here is the awesome part also. If we go to our create image profile, notice we passed a modifier. Very cool. This is good because that means even though it is not required, it's optional, we can actually use that to our advantage. How? Well, I'm going to change a few things here because notice inside of this create image profile, the only place that I reuse whatever we're going to be passing here, in this case a modifier, is just on the surface, which is the overall, the main canvas for our create image profile, right? This guy. That's where we're using. However, we don't use it anywhere else. So I want to use that also here. So I'll just call that modifier as such. This is going to help me in what way? Well, let's go back to our where this is being called. Now we have a couple places. So we have here which is inside of our list. What is that we want to happen? Well, we want to make sure that we pass modifier here to further customize our friend. Look at that. I can say modifier, that size, I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. How about 100? Let's see what's going to happen. Oh, .dp. Let's see what's going to happen. And look at this. Now it's smaller than this guy. You see, this is wonderful. This is an amazing concept that you will see me use this over and over again. In fact, that's what's encouraged. That's the beauty. Now we created this create image profile a while ago. It has its own customized properties, but then we can customize it even further because we want it to be reusable anywhere we want. And here's the example. And we can continue customizing because we can pass any modifier that we want here or any property from our modifier. Wonderful. And as such, I can come down here just to show you. I'm going to say text. And because remember, we're still inside of this lazy column, which means we have this item object here, in this case, just a string that we can show text there. Or I can just go ahead and just pass the actual item, say item like this. Same thing. We can pass named parameters, or we can just say like this and pass item, which is a recommended way. Either way will work. All right, so now if I run this again, and let's click, we should see project, and each one is going to go and show here. All right, and if you look closely, you will see that we have this very nice card, which we created just a few seconds ago. And as we know, for each card, we can also pass the elevation right of our shape. I'm going to say elevation for .dp. And there you go. You can see the difference there. We have this very nice elevation there. How about changing this to about 7 dp for our row, just to make sure. All right, much better. I like that. Okay, so you can play around with these paddings and all sort of things, but at least you can see now that things are working as expected. Now, the other thing I'm going to do here, remember we are trying to make it so that we have something like this. So that means then this text here perhaps needs to change to something a little bit more exciting. So the first thing we're going to do, let's change the font weight, and I'm going to say font weight bold. So if you just start typing as such, so here I'm going to say bold, font weight bold, hit enter, and there it is. But again, remember that the idea is to we have this one row, which we've added. So we have our row, which contains this create image profile, and then we have the text. But if we add anything else, it's going to be added to the right. But we want something to be added after this project. So at the bottom here, how do we do that? Well, we are going to enclose this text inside of a column. So I'm going to say column as such, and I'm going to select this guy, and I'm going to arrow up what's selected while still holding Command Shift like this. It's going to go now inside. All right, so now we have this column here, which is exactly what we want. And what we can do, of course, I'm going to go ahead and pass a modifier here, give another padding of about 8 dp or 7 dp, that's fine. And then still with our modifier, I'm going to also invoke the align lambda there. The align method, in this case, I'm going to pass alignment, of course, and the alignment, I'll just say alignment, and I want this alignment to be center vertically. So this will allow this whole column to enclose everything that is inside of it. It's going to be center vertically, which is exactly what we want. Very good. So we have now our text. The next thing we want to add is, of course, some sort of description here, something like that. So that means then I'm going to just copy this and paste it all there. And in this case, I'm just going to add a text, manual text. I'm going to say, hey, great project, something like that. And for font, it's not going to be bold. I want to change this to something less bold, no pun intended. Let's change, say, style. And let's go material, theme as such. Let's go to typography, and then body 2. So a little bit small. That should work. Let's go give it a run. All right, let's go ahead and take a look again. Click, and you see we have everything working nice. All right, very good. And we have our rows, and everything is looking great. Now, keep in mind that if we change this alignment or we don't add this alignment, this project one and great project, you know, this text here would be to the top here. In fact, let me show you real quick what would happen if we don't have that. Go ahead and run. Okay, let's go portfolio. And you can see it's at the top there. It's not the worst thing in the world, but I want everything to be kind of centered vertically, which means all of these texts will be pushed down a little bit. This is not bad. Okay, so I'm going to go Control Z, so we have that back. Okay, so let's final test here. Very good. Okay, so there you have it. It's working, and it's the end of our fun project here. Now, again, I have to emphasize this is not the end. Obviously, this is just the beginning. In fact, I ran through this real quick, and I did explain things, other things I did not, and it's all intentional because I didn't want to bug you down with the details, too much details. This is just the beginning. We are going to dive through this like no one else in coming lessons. So do not worry if none of this made sense, as long as you were able to go through and see what I was doing and kind of like navigate in your mind what's going on a little bit. That's all that I'm hoping that you got from this. We will go through all of this into more detail than ever in the next videos. Okay, congratulations if you were able to build this simple application. And I really look forward to seeing next, where we're going to be diving deeper, even deeper. Yes, it's possible, even deeper into this amazing new tool that is Compose. Okay, thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.